So, for about the past 5 months, manga has been dominating American comic book charts. Just absolutely just taking over the industry. And it's been funny to watch. You see comic pros laughing and saying, "Oh, ho, 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 they say the industry's not doing well, but look at these sales." And they dismiss that the only reason that a lot of these sales are going through the roof is because of manga. Like this isn't good for you. You're not gonna go over there and work. That's for sure. They're not gonna hire you. I promise you. They already have a pool of talent that they can pick from, and you ain't in it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. This has got a lot of people talking, and I got tagged on this thread. That was pretty interesting. We could go over it. It's got over 7,000 likes, so it is it is doing pretty good. It's going a little viral over there on Twitter. I thought we would talk about it. By the way, don't bother anybody here. Okay, we're just going through this. So this person says manga outsells comics because they are fronted by unique, linear stories with compelling characters that any new reader can pick up easily starting with volume 1, instead of Western comics that are fronted by 200 different alternate storylines with the same characters. The notion that manga outsells comics solely because they don't have a diversity agenda is disingenuous, when a lot of huge mainstream manga have diverse and even GT characters. The difference is that the focus isn't on that specific part of them, but rather on their stories. I'm just tired of this attitude because it sounds like a way to generalize Japan and Asia as the safe haven that doesn't have those darned SJWs and snowflakes when it's absolutely not the case, and it's a huge cherry picking look. It's a huge cherry picking look at what makes manga so successful. Another thing to note is that manga issues tend to be pumped out weekly or monthly, and that industry is notorious for forcing its artists to work at inhuman speeds with little rest. This isn't something to glamorize, but it has a better consistency than most short comic issues. I enjoy working in comics, but I don't understand why some comics have different artists for each issues, chapters, and the whole different variant covers for each of them. It's pace breaking and seems like the focus is to sell shiny things rather than focusing on a good, consistent story. Now, I agree with a lot of this, actually. The only thing that I don't agree with is some of the stuff in these two. So, nobody is saying that they don't have diversity and LGBT characters in manga, because they do. The difference is, you nailed it in there, they tell good stories, which is all anybody wants. What do you see when you look at comics over here in the West? You see headlines like this. This is what the stories focus on over in the West. Oh, Robin comes out. Whoa! And this is like the focus of the comic. This doesn't sell to anybody but headlines and journalists. Journalists can sell it as a headline. People will tweet about it on Twitter, but will they come back and will they keep buying? Okay, so this is in a Batman Urban Legend 6. They might go buy that one. Will they buy 7 or 8 or 9? No, they won't. This is what people are talking about. Okay. Now, we like to make these jokes saying, oh, it's a safe haven. And it kind of is a safe haven. Because if a bunch of people on Twitter tweet at a manga artist or a company in Japan and say, we demand this change, you know what they get? They get a gigantic middle finger and they get told to F off very politely. Very, very politely. But they get told to pretty much go F themselves. And that's the end of the day. Now, if they do it over here in America, they can bring the industry down. They can get someone fired. They can get people replaced. They can get legacies destroyed. Look at what they do to Stan Lee. Okay? And there's examples of good American comics selling. Look at King Spawn. Sells nearly 500,000 copies. Now, they're doing a lot of variant cover tricks, it turns out, right? Tons of different variant covers. You also can, okay, this one doesn't have it, but there's tons of different variant covers of this. And one of them is Todd McFarlane signed. Like, he signed one of them. You have to order so many copies. But I've talked to people in comic shops. Spawn books are selling better now. I don't know what's going on. I haven't, other than that Spawn Universe comic that came out, I haven't read a Spawn book in a long time. But they're picking up. Maybe the reason for that is the art's cool, and they're not selling headlines on Spawn hanging out with dudes and getting it on. Like, that's not a focus point for King Spawn. All right. And sure, there are definitely manga books that have, some of the stuff that you would see in this, but you know what? That's not the headline on the book. And there's tons to pick from. So I just no one is saying this, and this is not why things are doing better. But I know I can go over there and read some shit. Like, I can pick up a manga book, specifically a shonen book, that's pushed to sell to males, right? I mean, those books cater to dudes, right? And they don't apologize for it. Whereas the comic book industry does apologize for it. They do. We can go ahead and get rid of, like, we want to bring in everybody under the sun. Whereas, like, in a manga book, they'll say, okay, well, this book is specifically targeting these groups. And, if you don't like that, well, there's another book for you somewhere. Whereas in comics, we want everybody to read this book. And there's nothing wrong. Everybody can read a book. But there's nothing wrong with targeting a market, which a lot of people don't understand. And this guy says right here, it's just white men trying to change the industry to save their bullshit ego. The comic industry in the U.S. is trash and needs to change. Comics are branded as childish and are mostly catered to men. They're not catered to men anymore. That's why they've stopped selling. Because they don't try to bring in men. They pretty much specifically tell men to F off and lecture them and want to get rid of the male gaze and all that. Meanwhile, go watch Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. There's butt shots left and right every 5 seconds in that movie. I know that's not a manga. I'm just saying. They're unapologetically trying to bring dudes in to watch that. Just based on the way that they pose the women and the way that they're constantly, like, shaped, and, like, it just, go watch it. I did a watch party. I'm going to do watch parties again for all 4 this week. So we can talk spoilers during them. So come check out my Twitch for that. But I mean, there are some truths and there are some there's some far-fetched stuff in here. Specifically this, like, saying, like, people are only buying it to own the SJWs. That's not why people are buying manga. People are buying manga because they want good stories and they want comics still. And they can get them there. Like I said, they don't see this headline. This isn't what's used to sell manga. By the way, another problem, look at this. You want to tell me DC Comics is doing okay? Over half of their November titles are Batman. Look at this. That stinks of desperation. Let's go ahead and make half of the books Batman. Man. So they're a ticking bomb, I'm telling you. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.